Hi, welcome to you, me and Mediumship. A little talk this evening really based on paranormal investigation. It's something I've done in the past for a number of groups, and I just want to briefly explain obviously the difference between paranormal investigation and doing a reading for someone. So sounds quite obvious in a sense, but I'm talking from a mediumship point of view, how you work differently obviously within a building than what you would in front of a sitter, in front of a congregation or whatever. Then it's completely different kettle of fish altogether. So for those of you that are interested in maybe doing some paranormal investigations, those of you that would like to become a medium for a group, or maybe just go along as a guest and see what you can pick up on the evening, then yeah, that's great. So obviously there's paranormal groups and there's paranormal groups. The ones that I was fortunate enough to work for were very good, very upfront about the way they did things. There was definitely nothing set up. I mean, if I'd got wind of that for 1 minute, I would have been gone. But no, they were very professional in the way they worked. They had all the equipment, which is very interesting. And I think now as mediums, we go in and we use our senses to pick up what we can within a building. And it's interesting. And it was interesting for me to actually work with some of the equipment that they use. Obviously, some of it you may question and think, I'm not too sure on this, whether this is real or fake or whatever. The equipment wise, whether it really is picking up spirit, or whether it's just a gimmick. But some of the basic tools that we used early on, I'm going back probably early 2000s, I think, so 20 odd years ago. Some of the basic tools we used then were very basic. They were things just like basic thermometers and cameras, video cameras, ordinary video cameras. Some were night vision. We didn't have all the different equipment that they've got today. So we had some very basic stuff. And obviously, we relied more, I guess, then on the mediumistic side of things than the equipment. So, yeah, it was enjoyable, but you need to understand if you decide to do this, obviously you are going there working in a completely different way. You are going in sensing the atmosphere of a building more than anything else. Now, the energy from a building, depending obviously upon the building itself, varies. There's a lot more activity sometimes in a really old building because obviously it's got a lot of history, it's got a lot of stories to tell, and that energy, can be quite overwhelming sometimes. And it's an interesting thing to do, mainly because it's different. So it's nice to do something a bit different now and again. And like I said, playing with the scientific equipment they've got, and I've seen some very good results with some of it, especially with some of the infrared cameras. I've seen some good results, and some of the equipment will verify what you are saying as a medium. For example, I can remember picking up on, now this is residual energy, this is not spirit. Okay, I've done a video on the difference between the two, but there's like a residual energy within that building on a stairwell of a young pregnant lady. And what we used to do is let some of the guests go off with some of the equipment and have a go on their own. That was my time to have a nice cup of coffee. And basically, we had a gentleman come back one night with an image that he had taken on an infrared camera of the stairwell, and it was quite plain to see an image of a pregnant lady on the stairs, plain as day. He couldn't believe it, and I mean, he was literally walking down the stairs, sensed that there was something behind him, swung round with the camera and took a snapshot of the stairs. He couldn't see anything himself. He didn't sense anything himself, apart from the fact that he felt that there might have been something behind him on that stairs. And he literally just turned around, took a snapshot of the stairs, came away, flicked back through found the picture, and lo and behold, there she was, bless her. So yeah, it's interesting. So if you, like I said, if you want to change, if you want to do something, a little bit different, then yeah, it's great. It's fun. Obviously, you create your own atmosphere. You're in an old building, middle of the night. It's going to be creepy, isn't it? So whatever happens, it's going to be creepy. But we have done in the past. We did do some daytime ones, and you get the same results. There's no difference really between daytime and the evening at all. Quite why people think there is, I'm not too sure, but obviously it's more of a creepy atmosphere in the dark, isn't it? We've had, I can remember doing, I'm not going to name these places for obvious reasons, but I can remember doing a museum, and I sensed a lady in the corner, and I felt that she was going to make herself known. And the minute I mentioned the lady in the corner, on came the light switch. Now, nobody was in that corner. The light switch was there, obviously, but nobody was in that corner. We had that was being filmed. There was nobody stood in that corner, and on came the light. I felt that she wanted to make herself known, and I'm sure that's how she did it. Nobody could have turned the light on. There was only one switch in that room. There was no other switch. So you get some good evidence sometimes of the residual energy within that building. You will find as well that a lot of buildings that have had renovation work especially are more active. They are more active because there's a release of energy while walls are being knocked down. There's lots and lots of evidence of this. There's even some have got so bad that some workmen refuse to actually work in them, down tools and left. So yeah, if there's renovation work going on, then you'll tend to find that the energy does all of a sudden start to rise within that building. Now, you could argue that maybe that residual energy is not happy with the renovation work that's going on, but I'm pretty sure it's not that. It's more so the release of energy as you're knocking down walls. Some of this stone, obviously, is superb at holding energy. It's kind of like replaying a tape. The minute you start knocking these stones about, that release of energy you are releasing is a kind of release of memory, if you like, into the atmosphere, and we pick that up. Now, I'm not saying spirit does not exist within a building. What I'm saying is that 9 times out of 10, as a medium, you are working with the energy of the building. You kind of, as you walk in, you kind of build this rapport with the building itself. You attune yourself to that level of the building. You sense where you need to be, and you start to get the visions of things that have happened there in the past. And, in your mind's eye, you get replay of little sketches, if you like, of things that have happened. Now, obviously, I can remember doing one that was not in Norfolk many years ago, and a massive building, lots of office space, used to be a workhouse. And what I did insist on, in the early days, I used to say, I do not want to know where I'm going. I will do a Friday night with you, no problem, but do not tell me where we're off to. I don't want to know. And on the journey there, I kept getting told to go to reception. Please go to reception. I could visualize reception, what it looked like. I had an image in my mind when we pulled up at this building. We went in and we went through a door. There's me looking for reception, and there wasn't one. So I thought, well, that's interesting. But it kept coming to me to go to reception. And we walked around. I picked up different things in different areas of this building. And I think somewhere halfway through, there's like a caretaker, nice chap, who took us round, led us down the corridor into, lo and behold, reception. And the minute I walked in there, bang, young lad. I say bang because it was very, very quick and quite heavy, to be quite honest. And to the point where I had to leave the group, go to another room and come back. I just, like I've said before, if you communicate, that is the important thing. So I communicated. I needed to know what the problem was, why he was being so heavy, if you like, with me. I asked him to stand back. I promised him I would work with him on the condition that just stand back from me, please. The energy is too strong. He did that immediately. I said that, so I could walk back to the group, and then out it came, all about what had happened in that workhouse with his father. He told me about how his father had passed in that workhouse and how that had been covered up as an accident when in fact it wasn't. And you could feel the release of energy from him as he told me the story. It was kind of, oh, somebody's listening. It was fantastic. And again, you kind of build up this rapport. And I built up this rapport with him. And I think it was a rapport of trust. And as we walked around, every now and again, he would come back to me. And there was a kind of like a thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And then I think it was getting towards the end. And he said to me, the fish, look for the fish. Now, when you're in an office well, it's not modern, but it was obviously been done up to look modern. He said, look for the fish. And I'm thinking, well, maybe there's an aquarium or something like that. I don't know. We walked right to the end of where we had a base near the canteen. And he, I thought, well, I'm not going to see a fish now. Maybe in the canteen, put two and two together in my mind, in my human mind, trying to piece it all together. But just as before we entered the canteen was a small run of corridor, and the caretaker said, oh, hang on, we haven't been down there. I'll take you down there quickly before we finish. He took us down there. I think there was 2 or 3 offices down there. And on the door of one of the offices was a fish. Now, this fish was one of those that sing. It was mounted on a wooden mount, screwed to the door, and it was one of those that sing. So I tried to piece together, I thought, well, what is the relevance of this? Obviously, he wants me to go into this office. And as I went in there, I could sense that he spent an awful lot of time in this one small office in this big, big, big office block. I said to the caretaker, I sense that he has got a bit of a soft spot for a young lady that works in here. He plays tricks on her, he moves things off her desks, he hides them. And straight away, the caretaker verified that. He said, we get a number of calls from her. See, things have gone missing. Who's been in my office and moved something on my desk? Where's that gone? So it tallied together. It was a bit of a soft spot. He had a bit of a game with her, and he was like a young man, young adult. And obviously, like I said, he had a bit of a soft spot for her. And briefly again, I remember going up to the top of the office block. I mean, we're going back 20 odd years now, but there are little things that do stay with you. And right at the top of the office block, I had a lady come up to me, was dressed in old-fashioned, like a nurse's outfit. And I thought, this is very strange, I knew it'd been a workhouse, and, but I didn't know anything about why a nurse would be there. And she came very close to me, very clear. And she said, we are not happy about the bell being taken away. So I gave that information out. There was no response at that point. We went back down to the canteen. There was a number of things that we'd picked up in there, and the caretaker sat us all down. He'd written down notes of what I'd said as we'd gone round. And it was a fantastic place, a lot of relevance to what had been said. And he came to the final piece and he said, last week, on top of the roof was a bell, like in brickwork. And the brickwork had started to break up and started to crumble. The weight of the bell, they felt it could have been dangerous. So they took the bell away. And that was literally 1 week before we did our investigation. So this is energy from that building. And I've given you a video early on about the difference between spirits and ghosts. And like I said, I'm not to say that spirits do not exist within this building. You do get the odd spirit come through, but mainly as a medium for a group like this, you are dealing with the energy from the building. And it's fun, and it's great to play with the gadgets. You see them on television, you see them on YouTube quite a bit. Lots of investigations going on. But it's good to take part in it. And even things like thermometers are great. I've seen digital thermometers fall 10 degrees within, I don't know, under 10 seconds. Now, there is no scientific explanation for that unless you stick it in the fridge. But even so, in the same room, I've seen the temperature drop 10 degrees and you feel the energy start to come into that room. And it's absolutely amazing, just to watch that temperature drop. There's evidence there being picked up with scientific instruments, which is great. It's fun. It's sometimes you can go and get absolutely nothing, well, next to nothing, and it happens. But if you feel like you want to go as a guest, like I said earlier, go as a guest and just see. You don't have to tell everybody what you pick up, but just see what you sense, and then maybe do a bit of research and see if any of what you picked up is relevant. And it'll give you that bit of confidence with your attunement, with your attuning in. So yeah, so if you ever go, then please enjoy it. And very tiring. I've driven many miles in the middle of the night to do these. Hard to keep your eyes open sometimes, especially been at work all day. So it can be hard work, but have a go at it, and you'll probably find you enjoy it. I'm sure locally to you, wherever you are, you will find a group somewhere. Have a search on Facebook or somewhere like that, and just ask if you can go along. So you might find you get addicted to it and thoroughly enjoy it. So don't forget that difference between spirits and ghosts. Also, when you work in a group of people, you are attuned, but you are tuning at a slightly different level. But you will find now and again that you will get a relative of the guests come through. That does happen. And I used to get told off if I gave them information, because obviously I wasn't there to do that. I was there to investigate the building, but I can't help myself sometimes. But there you go. So yeah, be aware that if you're working as a medium within a paranormal group, the chances are, you will start to get snippets of information for the guests, and and make some good friends as well. And you may well get some readings from it if somebody asks you to do a reading for them another time. Then yeah, that may well happen. So just a little bit of chit chat, really, all about paranormal investigations. Like I said, have a go if you want. You don't have to, obviously. It's completely your choice, but it is interesting. And if you do go, hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe my videos. It makes a lot of difference to for my confidence, I guess, and it just keeps me going. Please have a look at my Patreon as well, You, Me and Mediumship, where I'm not teaching, I'm just doing some guide work on there, some guidance work with some of the students with their mediumship and helping them along a bit. And please just go over to that and have a look. And if you're interested, please get in touch. So that's it for tonight, and hope you enjoy the video. Take care, enjoy your investigations, and let me know how you get on. So have a good evening. Bye for now.